All right, guys, it's time. It's time to finally discuss something that I've been purposefully avoiding over the past few weeks, something that I've generally just been keeping mum on, something that I've very much intentionally not been addressing in my comments, something that I've kind of brushed over whenever it's brought up in stream chat, something that I see discussed all the time in my Discord, but I just kind of don't pay it too much mind. It's time to finally say something about a hot topic for a lot of Seahawks fans this offseason. It's time to finally say something about free agent KJ Wright. Yes, still free agent as of this recording on April 8th. So, some of this is old news. We've known this for a few days now, but I thought I'd go ahead and make a video addressing the important stuff here. And I have generally I have generally avoided talking about KJ Wright this offseason. I haven't said his name that much because, well, quite frankly, I have been adamantly against bringing him back in 2021. I feel like it's time for us to move on. I feel like it's time for us to see what some of the younger linebackers on this team can do. I feel like it's just time for us to not give a bunch of money to an aging veteran who can only get worse. KJ's not going to get better. He's going to get worse. And I have been sticking to that sentiment for several weeks now. We are now in week 4 of free agency. I have not really been talking about the KJ stuff at all. And that is not in line with what you will see from a lot of Seahawks fans lately. I think KJ Wright might be the most interesting free agent to a lot of Seahawks fans because he's been here and he's been good for so long. And I understand that, but I personally have been firmly on the side of KJ needs to go somewhere else and finish his career. He cannot finish his career here. Well, I think it's time for me to start reconsidering that position because some things are happening and I need to at least take one video to discuss all the stuff going on here to kind of, sum up what I've been not discussing in the past several weeks. All right, so a couple days ago, the Dallas Cowboys, after spending extensive time flirting with KJ Wright in free agency, have decided they will not be pursuing him. They will not attempt to sign him. Whatever their negotiations were, we don't know. He has decided to not sign with the Dallas Cowboys, or the Cowboys have decided to not sign him. We don't know if KJ was asking for something absurd or if the Cowboys were offering something minuscule or somewhere in the middle. We don't know exactly what caused this to fall through because this looked like a done deal a handful of days ago. But regardless, it seems like it's dead in the water now. KJ Wright will not be a Cowboy, which leaves us asking the question, who wants KJ Wright? Who is pursuing, who is trying to bring in KJ Wright on a free agent contract? The answer seems to be nobody. A quick search of the internet produced two things that are worth noting, but neither of which are concrete and certainly meaningful. I found this article on arrowheadaddict.com where a couple of Chiefs fans discuss bringing in KJ Wright, and you can read this whole article if you want to, but nowhere is it said anywhere in this article that the Chiefs front office has been linked to KJ Wright. Nowhere does it say that a coach has been expressing interest in bringing in KJ Wright. Just that the Chiefs have a need at linebacker and KJ Wright is an intriguing option. This is just fan speculation, nothing to do with what the team may or may not actually be interested in doing. So that's about the most concrete thing I could find on KJ. One other similar piece of media would be this article on Silver and Black Pride, the Las Vegas Raiders SB Nation blog, where they discuss KJ Wright possibly going to Las Vegas to play for the Raiders. But the only thing they really have to link those things in a sensible way is the fact that the Las Vegas Raiders have a former Seahawks defensive coordinator that KJ Wright was coached under. They have Gus Bradley, who coached KJ Wright at one point in his career. They don't have any reason to believe the team has expressed interest in him. They don't have any proof. All they have is the theory that, hey, maybe he would fit in. So basically, as of this moment, I'm not seeing any team in the NFL expressing any real interest in KJ Wright. So the question is why? Because KJ Wright played really well last year, right? So I think that the most obvious reason why KJ Wright isn't having a good market is because his skills, his talents are not valued in the current NFL. A 4-3 linebacker who plays on the outside and doesn't rush the passer well is just not going to get paid in this modern NFL. People have learned what positions deserve to get paid. Quarterbacks deserve to get paid. Left tackles deserve to get paid. Um, Shut down cornerbacks, pass rushers, sometimes middle linebackers, sometimes wide receivers. Outside linebackers in a 4-3 defense just do not get paid. Um, the question is, to what degree is KJ not going to get paid? And while it's possible that he's just asking for like 8 million bucks a year and teams are just turning him down because of course we're not going to do that, you crazy psycho. Let's take a look at something here. And I'm, again, before I click over here, I am not trying to draw a direct parallel between these two players, but I do want to draw one similar circumstance across these two guys that might be telling. So here's a tweet from Field Yates recently about the contract the Detroit Lions signed Quinton Dunbar to recently. Short version is the contract is worth less than $1 million, 990,000. Now we could spend a few minutes talking about why the hell didn't the Seahawks match that? Are you telling me this guy would rather play for the Lions than the Seahawks? You have to be kidding me. Why didn't we offer Dunbar $1 million? $1 million is nothing. And maybe we will discuss that a little later, but I'm going to go ahead and just bypass that discussion for the moment. And I'm going to kind of discuss this contract with regard to what KJ Wright might be looking at right now, because Dunbar was a player that I and Spotrac both expected to get somewhere around $6 to $7 million a year this offseason. Spotrac thought he was going to get 3 years. I thought he was going to get 2 years, but we both thought he was going to get somewhere between $6 to $7 million a year. He ended up getting a 1 year, $1 million deal. KJ Wright is a player that myself and Spotrac both thought was going to get $6 to $7 million a year. I thought he was going to get 2 years. So did Spotrac. We both thought it was going to be like 2 years, 14 million. And here we are in week 4 of free agency, I think, and it hasn't happened. And now I'm seeing a guy like Dunbar settle for $1 million. I'm starting to wonder, what is KJ Wright going to have to settle for after all? Is he going to get 2 million? Is he going to get $1.5 million? Is he going to get close to the veteran minimum, which I think for his level of experience is like 1.2 million? Is there just no money out there for a guy like KJ Wright? And as time goes by, I'm starting to wonder if that is the case. I have to wonder if he would rather retire than play for that small amount of money, because he did just make, I think, $10 million last year, so it's a huge step down for him. And I want to stress, these players are different. Dunbar got paid so low because he sucked last year. KJ would get paid so low theoretically because he's very good at stuff that people no longer value. But this makes me wonder if KJ's price tag is going to come way down lower than I thought it was going to be. And final thing I want to take a look at before we're done here today is this. This is my rough estimate for the Seahawks roster in 2021. We have some players here that are going to get pushed off in all likelihood to make room for draft picks and one or two other free agent signings. But this is the 53-man roster as I see it if the season started today, with a 12-man practice squad. Technically, roster sizes are 55, but there are some unique rules around that. So this is the 53-man roster, and there's a hole here. There is a clear hole at Sam linebacker. We don't know who will be the Sam linebacker when we line up in those sets. Maybe it'll be Jordan Brooks, but we don't know. Maybe it'll be Darrell Taylor, but we don't know. I don't think Cody Barton can physically play that role. I don't think BBK can either. So we have a hole here, and while I will always prefer to get somebody young to fill these holes on a team. I would much prefer to get a rookie Sam. I also acknowledge we don't have a lot of draft picks to work with, and whoever we get is going to need to start day one. And if we get some UDFA, I don't think we can have a ton of confidence that we're going to be able to start that player day one. So KJ played Sam last year and he played pretty good. So what I'm trying to say here is the stars might be aligning for me to be okay with bringing back KJ. And I never thought I was going to say that. I have been adamantly anti-KJ this whole offseason. I did not want to bring him back. But if the money is not there for him and he just decides if nobody's going to pay me anything real, I may as well go back to the team that I've spent my whole career on, and he's willing to play for like 1 year, 2 million, or even maybe 2.5 million, and there's the understanding that he's only going to play the Sam until somebody gets hurt, okay. The roster need is there, as you can clearly see. If you look at the screen, we need a Sam. We know KJ did pretty good at Sam last year, and the ability of this team to grab a new Sam linebacker at this point in the offseason is highly dubious in terms of, getting some low-level free agent or getting a rookie. May as well. So this is now officially worth keeping an eye on, in my view. It's time to start considering bringing back KJ Wright for another year, because his price tag should be bottom of the barrel at this point. Nobody is interested in this guy, it seems like, that we know of. Until that changes, until somebody's out there to drive up his cost, I think it's time to start thinking about this. So, KJ Wright, I have wanted you off this team for the last couple of months. I have wanted you to leave this offseason. I think it's time for me to reconsider. I think the door is now open to bring back KJ Wright. So that's what I have to say in this video. I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks. Hey, the stars have aligned, guys. I never thought we would get here, but at this moment, I have to say, it's time to start seriously considering re-signing KJ Wright to something very cheap and letting him be the Sam linebacker in 2021. See you guys later.